James, how are you?
Good evening. How are you? All right?
Yeah, I'm very well. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. So, this is the end of the Premier League sort of season review. It's going to be released as a special. So this is your first special.
This is my first special. Yes.
It's the first I've shared as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel very privileged.
Yeah. It's obviously the Premier League special.
Mhm.
Man City not really running away with it, but kept it in their own hands for a long time. What do you think? What's your review of the season? What do you think?
I think it's been a very interesting season in regard. I mean, at the beginning of this season, I thought I would have never have called Aston Villa being where they were. I mean, for
No.
me, that has completely thrown a spanner in the works as far as predictions and go. And I think Unai Emery, the Aston Villa coach, needs to be really commemorated for what he's done with Aston Villa.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
They haven't exactly gone and brought some marquee signings or none of that. They've just played
really well. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
gone to the semi-finals of Europe.
Yeah. I mean, they've. Who did they play in the semis? Was it
Atlanta, who actually
ended up winning it? So I mean, fantastic.
with an unbelievable hat trick from Adama.
Unbelievable! Yeah, I mean, he looks the real deal. That man. I'll be surprised if not many Premier League teams.
He's had a stab over here with Everton. He would have been late teens, early 20s, and he didn't really stand out. He went on loan to Red Bull Salzburg and had an all right time, but it's a very different league. I mean, the spaces he were getting last night, but that's a different sort of thing altogether. But I'm with you. It's never been a pretty straightforward in the sense of City won the league.
I wouldn't say they won it
in a row, but
I wouldn't say they won it very straightforward though.
No,
I mean, looking back at the scores Arsenal were chasing them. I mean, up to a point, it was Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. They were all in the running for it. Liverpool bottled it early doors, fair dinkum.
Yeah.
Arsenal, I mean, back in December, they lost to Villa. A lot of Arsenal fans are talking about, that's when Arsenal lost the league. Well, no, you then lost to West Ham 2-0. We then lost to Fulham the game after 2-1. So there's 2 out of them 3 games based on what it was at that point in time. Arsenal should have dominated that. Yeah. Okay, we were lucky that Liverpool were bottling it, and I think City dropped a few around at that time as well. But if you want to go on and win that league, you need to be picking up points at teams like Fulham and West Ham.
Well, I've looked at some games that have gone on during the season, where and what I think have been instrumental into the season. And early doors, 3rd or 4th week of the season, Sheffield United at home versus Man City, 27th of August. Manchester City scored they were 1-0 down. They scored in the 85th and 88th minute to win 2-1.
Yeah.
And you look back now, and Sheffield United won 3 games all season, and Manchester City, if they'd have dropped those 3 points, we'd be having a different conversation.
Absolutely. There was many games where Manchester City were leaving it very late on to seal the deal.
So even here, you've got another one from Man City in January, 2-1 down, 5 points behind at the time, leaders Liverpool, and come back to win 3-2. Brentford in the 5th of February, 1-0 down. They lost home and away last year to Brentford, and then it was a Phil Foden hat trick. Man City, again, I mean, they drew 1-0 with Liverpool on the 10th of March. And you could even argue the 14th of May, when they beat Tottenham 2-0. Going away to Spurs, they've not got the best of records. I think they've not won 7 out of the last 8 times. Away from home, having, that game effectively left their season in their hands. So, I mean, and like you say, for you guys, November, you lost 1-0 to Newcastle. 31st of December, lost 2-1 to Arsenal after already losing to Villa and West Ham in December. And then I think 14th of April at home, you lost 2-0 at home to Villa, which probably cemented Villa's Champions League and probably, again, took it out of your hands. I think when you look back at the results, Liverpool and Arsenal didn't do enough to keep it in your own hands, whereas when it's mattered, Man City has, and that has been the difference.
Yeah. I mean, I said to you, didn't I, early doors within the, I said to both yourself and Jordan early doors within the season that I wouldn't be surprised if this title race goes down to goal difference. And the goal difference of both first and second is exactly the same of 62. So if Arsenal, that 2-2, that 2-1 loss to Fulham became 2-2, or that one to Villa was 2-2, it would have then, this is where that goal difference come down. Yeah, exactly. It's really good. But I mean, a team for me, or there's a couple of teams for me this season that have, I'm so happy they've done what they've done, but as both Everton and Nottingham Forest, that both of them have had points deduction, yet they've still stayed within the Premier League. And with that points deduction for both of those, I can't see it happening, but I really hope they now go for both Chelsea and Manchester City.
Yeah.
I don't think they will, because they're both big pullers of revenue for the Premier League.
Yeah, maybe Chelsea because of where they are at the minute, but there's too many ties to the Middle East with Man City and the Premier League.
Exactly, yeah.
I can't see it, but
no. I mean, Chelsea have done really well to finish where they have, considering, they won their last 5 games of the season. And considering at one point Chelsea were in the lower half of the league, everyone was writing them off. To finish 6th, considering where they were at,
above Manchester United and Newcastle.
Yeah. But I am shocked that they have parted ways with Pochettino.
I think. I mean, there's rumours of Vincent Kompany being in advanced talks with Bayern Munich. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pochettino head that way. Hasn't
Poch already been there?
No. No, he went to Paris Saint-Germain.
That's it, PSG. Apologies.
Yeah, and I can't see where he will end up unless, when he left Spurs, I thought Man United were going to take him. So whether that's Man United have got Manchester City in the FA Cup, and whether this
it wouldn't surprise me. Manchester United have finished 8th this season, and Ten Hag hasn't been a fan favourite. He's not been playing exciting football, but Manchester United do need to get rid of some deadwood. They need to get shot of people like Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire and who's matey boy that was given a big one with the are you listening? Was it not Marsh Anthony?
Yeah,
you need to get rid of Manchester United. Needs to get rid of some deadwood there. So I think if they got rid of a bit of deadwood and pulled in somebody like Pochettino and said to him, "We will give you at least 3 years," I think we'll start to see the Manchester United of old.
I think this is what it needs, and you only look at Arsenal. Yeah. So Arsenal came second. Mikel Arteta's, came with a little bit of scrutiny the first couple of seasons.
Yeah,
those players are starting to come through. You finish second, and to be honest, you're 5 points fewer last year. But Declan Rice has been outstanding. David Ray has taken, almost to the point where it looks like you're selling Ramsdale, even though Ray is on loan. And you've taken Hurts from the bench at Chelsea to, big influence, but you need an out-and-out striker. But you're not, as a squad, you're not a million miles away.
No, it's Raya was on a loan, wasn't he, with an option to buy at the end of the season for 30 million. I I wasn't too happy at the beginning of the season with Ramsdale being dropped because I love Aaron Ramsdale. I think he should be England number one. I think he's been put back a few steps now by not having regular first team football this season.
Mm.
Would I spend 30 million on Raya? Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would.
And you know what? I hope you do, because Blackburn have got a sell-on clause, so I would love it.
So you line in your pockets as well. But for me, the player of the season this year for me, for Arsenal, is not Declan Rice. Don't get me wrong, Declan Rice has made a huge difference.
Can I have a guess?
In how Arsenal play? Go on in.
Saliba.
No. For me, the player for Arsenal this year is Martin Odegaard.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I thought that was too obvious. That's why I went with
I mean, don't get me wrong, Saliba has been phenomenal. I can't really think of a bad Arsenal player this year, from Tomiyasu right the way forward to Martinelli. But I think the way that Declan Rice has played has allowed Odegaard
to push
a bit more freedom.
Yeah,
I'm really impressed with his captaincy. I really am. I don't think Arsenal have had a decent captain since the old days with Vieira. I can't think of a decent one. So
I said when you picked him up, you had him on loan, didn't you? Then you brought him. I think you only spent about 20 million on him, and I think it's one of the best 20 million pounds you've ever spent. I think that's the second best 20 million pounds that I've seen a club spend since Spurs signed Christian Eriksen for 12 million. So, but Liverpool third, manager Klopp he stepped down now. They've announced the new manager slot. Liverpool won the Carabao Cup, but really, Liverpool lost to Atalanta when you look back, and then they beat Villa. So third place for Liverpool, I think that's probably fair.
I think that's very generous. Yeah, I think it's very generous for Liverpool towards, especially in the second half of the season. I think Liverpool to finish third, I think it's very generous for them. It's going to be a shame that Klopp has gone. Klopp was a great personality for the Premier League over the last 9 years. He's been fantastic. It's a real shame, but I get it. He's tired. He's had enough. He want a break. Why not?
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm not sad to see him go. Villa in fourth, which, like you say, I think the standout team of the season, with Everton closely behind. But Ollie Watkins has been brilliant up top, and I think he should be starting for England with Harry Kane. The problem is they're very similar players, so that's not my headache to have. But Spurs in fifth, I think that's a fair, standard. I don't know what else they want, in the sense of, they've got a fairly decent replacement for Lloris in Vicario. Mickey van der Ven's taken well to the Premiership. Postecoglou sort of said there's some frailties, but they've competed very well, I think, in fifth place.
I think so. I mean, they had a bit of a shit run with a couple of 3 or 4 losses on the bounce, and you kind of thought, oh, here we go. I think Son needs a little bit of help up top. I got a feeling Richarlison's going to play more of a part next year. But yeah, Spurs done all right. I think fifth is quite fair for Spurs, to be honest with
you. Chelsea in sixth again. Pochettino, I'm amazed. Cole Palmer's definitely been the standout.
He's a young player of the year, without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt, and he has won that as well. So Newcastle in seventh again. I saw a thing today with the injuries. They've had the most players out for the most amount of days, but they haven't had the most injuries for the season.
Newcastle have been quite quiet of late as well, haven't they? I mean, considering they've had that big takeover, I think not many. Newcastle win, nothing really gets said. Newcastle lose, nothing really gets said. I kind of think they've gone a bit under the radar of late. So
yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens next year. They've not got Champions League this year. That they got a good result early doors in that, and then unfortunately went out. They look to be, they look to have to sell this year to keep in line with FFP. Maybe
what's their player? Is it Isaac? Is that his name?
Yeah, who's guys? Is that? Yeah. So he's been sniffing around, but if they hire Man City's lawyers, they should be safe. But Newcastle, they need Manchester City to win the FA Cup to give it so that Man City are obviously already in Europe to knock a space down. So Newcastle can still get Conference League if Man City win the FA Cup.
Yeah, I think that'll happen, to be fair.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Man United in 8th, again, fairly steady. It's still got an FA Cup to play for.
Yeah.
It's not,
Just got a lot of deadwood to get out there. They need to get rid of 4 or 5 players.
And I think with the takeover this year, I think Jim Ratcliffe will get that done.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So West Ham in 9th, not a terrible year.
No, I don't think so. I think West Ham, I mean, their last 5 games weren't phenomenal. Only one win in 5, but they show a lot of promise there. I mean, yes, they done very well when they had Declan Rice and they won the
last year.
Conference League. You know, it's great. A bit of silverware. They're building on that. They've lost Rice this year, so he's a big miss for them. But I think they will. I think they'll not replace him because you can't replace someone like Declan Rice. But I mean, they will make changes to emulate their successful season of winning the Conference League, and I think they'll be a force to reckon with next year. I really do.
Palace in 10th.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, they had a great win on the last day, didn't they? 5-0 winners. I think Palace have done very well. I mean, Eze, and who was the guy who got the hat trick? I can't remember his name.
Michael Elise.
Oh, yeah, you know, so
electric.
It's a shame that they came good once Roy Hodgson had to step down. I mean, albeit through medical reasons, and all the best to Roy Hodgson. But they really, I mean, they didn't lose their last 5 games, and they really did come good. You know, I'd like to think they'd build on what they've got this year and go forward with their new manager that they've got now, and hopefully they. You know, I can see him probably emulating this next year, finishing around that mid-table.
Yeah, in 12 months' time, let's come back to Adam Wharton. He joined in January from Blackburn Rovers for 18 million. He's in the England provisional squad for the Euros. He is taken to the Premier League like Dr. Water. He is going to be a player.
Okay, all right.
Brighton and Hove Albion in 11th. What do you?
I thought they were going to do a lot better this season, Brighton and Hove Albion.
There's a lot of talk of Roberto De Zerbi being in that Bayern Munich role. There's talk of him being at Manchester United, and yet they've come 11th when they came 6th or 7th last year.
Yeah, I had high hopes for Brighton this year. I thought they were really going to push that European spot. I'm a little bit disappointed they didn't.
Yeah, they lost some big players though, with Casado going to Chelsea and McAllister going to Liverpool.
Yeah.
But they've kept hold of that Evan Ferguson, who I think
he's got some great potential. He's very much like a Harry Kane figure, isn't he? Ferguson.
Well, I'll be honest. To me, he emulates his namesake in Duncan Ferguson.
There was a player.
You know, he's just that big guy up top, put it in the air, and he gets over it. So
yeah.
I think he'll be good. Bournemouth and Fulham 12th and 13th. I think that's probably where you'd have pinned them early doors.
Yeah, it's pretty fair, to be fair.
Fulham, you know, Marco Silva's still there. They're sticking with him. You know, they've got Mitrovic left and went to Saudi. EFL's Cup semi-finals, lost to Liverpool over both legs, and at one point they were up in that. So, you know, I think they've just become fairly established now for a little while.
Yeah, I think they're comfortable hanging around that mid. You know, that when you look at the bottom half, that mid bottom half table, I think they're quite comfortable there. They'll just plod along. I think
that's the same with Wolves now. I think they had a couple of good years. They got by just last year. But I think Wolves would have been the most hampered by VAR in terms of like points lost. They were one of the most hampered by.
Well, maybe if we follow suits with Sweden, we'll the Swedish league will get rid of VAR.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know, Sweden have already got rid of it. They don't see it to be any benefit, so they've already got shot of it. Yeah. So, you know, we'll see.
Everton 15th. I think that's a fantastic for what Sean Dyche got out of that squad.
Yeah.
If they can get this takeover done, they can get a bit of money. Then they go into the new stadium. I think in 3 to 4 years' time, with the right ownership and the right direction, I think they can get back into Europe.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I reckon within the next 5 years they'll be pushing, if not in that European slot. I think considering their points deduction, they've done absolutely, because I mean any points deduction in any league is
Tough.
a shit deal. You know,
Yeah.
it really is. But especially in the Premier League, to come good out of it and to get out of it, what Sean Dyche has done with what he's got in the circumstances that they've had is phenomenal, and they really need to be, commemorated for what they've done.
Brentford, Forest, 16th, 17th. Again, even with Forest with the points deduction, I don't think with their points there'd have been much beyond. I mean, Everton would have been a few places above, but Forest might have jumped Brentford. But I think that's fairly. Thomas Frank's had a bit of a tough time, but Ivan Toney's back and he was scoring goals. So
I could definitely see Forest a bit higher next year. I can see them sitting in around that, anywhere between 10th and 13th next year. I think they're going to put this season behind them. Count themselves lucky that they've managed to get through that deal of losing points, and I think they're going to hit the ground running. And I mean, they're not going to be in the top half of the table. They're not going to be pushing for Europe, in my opinion, but they're definitely going to be in and around that 10th till 13th. You know, standard. I think. Yeah.
And then the three that got promoted are the three that have gone down: Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United. I think Luton were unlucky. I think,
I'm quite gutted for Luton.
Yeah, I tipped them to be, bottom of the league, 3 wins, 4 points, and Ross Barkley. I mean, fantastic season. I think he's linked back up at Villa, but can
you imagine Ross Barkley at Villa with Ollie Watkins playing up front?
Yeah, would especially if they're playing how they've played this year. I think it'd be massive.
Yeah,
Burnley a little bit underwhelming, really. I'm surprised to see Company linked with such a big job.
I am. When you said that earlier on, I kind of did cringe my face up as if to say, "Really?" I
mean, he went out. They got promoted from the Championship to the Premiership, so they went and brought a keeper in James Trafford from Man City that's never played above League One, and used him in the Premiership as the number one. So it was a bit of a.
It was a gamble.
And it hasn't paid off, has it?
No, but I think Burnley will come back up next year. I think they'll go down. I think they will be, out of the 3 that have gone down, my money would be on Burnley to be the only ones coming back up.
Agreed. Completely agree. And then Sheffield United given Derby a run for their money. A few more points, but Jesus Christ, absolutely.
It's been, I mean, what, 3 wins, 7 draws?
Yeah.
They've
losses. It's so, and the thing is as well, there's been times, and Sheffield United are a team very close to me, and there's times when they go 2-0 down after 20 minutes, and you'd want to see a little bit of fight or a little bit of decent play, and the players just turn their back on everything.
They seem to be happy with a 2-0 loss, don't they?
I'll be honest, they seem to be overwhelmed, and when it goes to 3, then they seem happy. It's honestly, it has been that miserable for them.
Yeah, they really haven't been good.
No, we've still got an FA Cup, which, like I say, has an impact on the European standings from the Premier League. No British team left in the Champions League final, but you've got the Championship playoff still to play with Southampton and Leeds. So who
do you reckon from that?
Who do I reckon, or who do I want?
Who do you reckon?
Leeds.
Oh, okay. I was going to go Southampton.
I want Southampton.
See, I reckon Southampton, but I want Leeds.
Yeah, I think Leeds will be too much for them.
Okay. So before we finish off, because we are getting on for time here. So before we finish off, we'll quickly, if you don't mind, do our predictions for top 4 next year.
Okay. Me first? Do you want me to go, or?
You go first. Who do you think is top 4, first through 4th?
In order?
Yep.
Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs.
Oh, okay.
What about you?
So I am going to go Arsenal.
This is in order, right?
This is in order, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go Arsenal, City, Spurs,
and
United.
No, Liverpool. I just
No.
it's got too much quality still.
I think the new manager, when he comes in, he's going to upset a few. He's going to unsettle that change room a little bit. I know Mo Salah has said he wants to stay and he wants to fight. I don't think that's going to be the case. They can't go with Nunes. He's just fucking useless. He's, honestly, man couldn't hit a barn door with a banjo. So I am going to go Arsenal, City, Spurs, United.
United. Well, in 12 months' time, we'll come back to that. And we'll talk about Adam Wharton and we'll talk about those top 4 predictions.
Oh, absolutely. Sounds good.
Take care.
And you, mate. Take care. Ta-da now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.